Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Back Channel. Today, I want to talk about something that might sound boring, but certainly comes after fundraising a lot of the time, which is choosing service providers. And when I think about service providers, I mean the companies, the firms, the agencies that startups often have to hire, especially after they raise capital. The things that come to mind are lawyers, bankers, accountants, etc. A lot of times, now I don't want to say this all comes after fundraising. Certainly, lawyers should be hired before that capital comes in, but they all get lumped together around service providers that are attached to the fundraising process and venture-backed startups. The reason I think this is important to talk about is that many people kind of don't think about what it means to choose a service provider. So I wanted to give at least a couple frameworks or a way of thinking so that you guys can make a better decision on who to work with. Now, the first thing that I'll say, not everyone might agree with, certainly a lot of service providers won't agree with, but the service that they offer, as long as you do your basic filtering to choose a service provider who actually knows the space, who actually works with startups, is not a lawyer that does divorce legal work and then on the side will help you with your startup docs, or a banker that doesn't actually work with startups, or accountant that doesn't work with startups, etc. As long as you do that basic level of filtering, and that is very important, once you get past there, I think all the services are relatively commoditized. That's oversimplifying it. But once you get into that echelon of respected service providers, people that multiple people use, then you're all getting kind of the same basic level of service. Like many of you, my last venture-backed startup was a SaaS business. In that company early on, we had the opportunity to sell into a large enterprise, but ran into some walls when they asked us if we were SOC 2 certified. Not only were we not certified, we also found out that it would take our small team a ton of time to get that done, and so we ended up abandoning the deal. If you haven't run into a situation like that where a potential customer or investor is asking if you're SOC 2, HIPAA, GDPR, or ISO 27001 certified, you probably will soon. But unlike me, you could use a company called Vanta to help. Vanta helps automate up to 90% of the compliance work, getting you audit ready in weeks rather than months, and eliminating up to 85% of the costs. Not only that, but Vanta can start small with you and scale up as you grow, helping you land bigger deals and earn customer trust. The best part is, Vanta is offering funded listeners $1,000 off for going to vanta.com/funded. That's vanta.com/funded for $1,000 off your service. Check it out. So check that box. And then once you look at that universe of potential service providers, the next things are all the things on the edges, the margins, the things that they can do above and beyond their service that adds value to you and your company. So some of those things might be relationships. Some of those things might be access to events, access to other value-added services that you should ask them about. How do you usually work with your clients? How do you help them beyond the services that you provide? That's one thing. So dig into that. That'll be something you measure. And then the second big category, which feels very soft, is just what's your vibe with them? What's the relationship feel like before you even start working? Do you like this person? This has to be somebody that you feel comfortable going to for advice. This has to be someone that you feel comfortable pushing back on, someone that you feel like you could have a close working relationship and trust moving forward. If you take those three things into account, the basic filtering of do they work in the startup industry? Second, look at the things that they can provide value-wise above and beyond their core commoditized services. And then three, what does that relationship feel, look like, sound like, etc.? That'll give you a great starting point to decide what service providers to think about. And remember, that second category of value might be quite large. So hopefully this is helpful when you choose your next lawyer, your next banker, your next accountant. And I will see you next time on the Back Channel.